So if we could simply be welcoming, not knowing, fresh. Discovering this moment freshly. Without any need to analyze it, compare it, fix it, remember it. So welcome the stillness. The peace of being. Notice sensations within your body, within the space of awareness, the heartbeat, the gentle breath. The sensation of your feet on the ground. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. The freedom of being. The peace, the love, the beauty. It is what we are, isn't it? Not something we do or something we try to achieve or attain. It is what we are. Notice that whatever appears to you disappears, whatever it may be, a memory, a thought, a sensation, a perception. Such a flow. Is sort of arising within the spaciousness of awareness, which is eternal. Eternal meaning it's not in time, meaning it's that which is, that which I am, this aware presence. Isn't it so? No effort is needed in order to be. You may need to maintain being somebody cute, somebody lovable, but no effort is needed to be. Being is not something that you do. It is that which you are. Being awareness is neither male or female, isn't it so? That which perceives this perception is undeniable. Invisible to the senses, invisible to the mind. And yet it's undeniable. The reality of our experience is aware presence. You may call the body, you may name the body, Bill, Mary, John, whatever. But that which you are has no name, no phenomenal limitation, no phenomenal qualities. You could say this is a tall body, this is a shorter body. This is a 10-year-old body, a 20-year-old body. But you cannot say, I, awareness, is a 10-year-old awareness or a 20-year-old awareness, or a tall awareness or a short awareness. So why do we live under the impression that we are tall or short and 20 or 30? Or why do we live under the impression that we are immortal body-mind if that which we are is invisible reality of consciousness, awareness? It is as if somebody who keeps dreaming and feeling that they are a unicorn believes themselves to be a unicorn and lives life as if they are a unicorn, whatever that may be. Can we welcome our experience without the past? What is that like? To live freshly, moment by moment, without the limitations of history, her story. Not knowing, being, the freedom of being. Or are we repeating and repeating the past? What happened to me? What may happen to me? What he did, what she did. Why did they do this? They should have done this or that. Living in the bubble of thoughts and feelings, stories. Do we need to define ourselves in any way? To be the presence? Where are we heading? More and more sensations, more and more feelings. A vast storage of memories and what about love and beauty and joy and happiness? The causeless peace of being, the causeless joy. Is that an accumulation from the past? Or some future hope? While all along the ocean is right here, right now. The ocean that is not defined by the waves, is not defined by the currents. Like the wide open sky is not defined by the weather. What are we? What am I? What is going on this very moment? Is it some sort of story? A string of thoughts? What about the boundless joy of being? What limits I awareness in this moment? A thought may appear to me, appears to I awareness. But that which appears does not limit the spaciousness of awareness, does it? Movements on the surface of the ocean or currents within the ocean do not limit the ocean. Why? What makes it that we experience the sense of limitation? Are we just a current in the ocean, subject to oceanic forces? Is that what awareness, what consciousness is? Although we define the body as whatever way we define it, does it imply that we are the body? Even when I say I am the body, does it mean that I am the body? Or is it just a thought, a belief, an opinion, a position I take? What for? How about the recognition of your true being? Does this message touch your heart? Are you hearing? Are you hearing with your entire being? You feel how your cells are dancing, vibrating. This deep resonance, not with some belief or some story, but the resonance with the truth. Because you are that truth. Not you, the body, not you, the personality, but the true, the only real you, the only you, which is the one I, the one self, the one consciousness, the one reality. Allow yourself to be that which you are. You are that. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, please feel free to unmute yourself, and you're welcome to turn on your video as you feel. So any questions?
Hey, Maggie, it's Frank.
Hello, Frank.
I'm driving, but I'm being very careful, so
Yeah.
no worries.
Good.
Quick question about, so my mom has what they call dementia. I was talking about that the other night with you. It's really painful for me, but I'm feeling okay with the pain, because I know it's something that, I know that deep down we're all okay. She's okay, I'm okay. Not even deep down, right here where we are.
Yes.
All there is presence, and all there is peace and happiness and love and everything. But the appearance is of my mother losing her memory and being afraid of it, because she's very afraid of losing it. That's the most painful part, is because not only is she forgetting things, but she's calling me and saying, I'm so afraid of what's going to happen to me. What's going to happen to me? I can't remember this and I can't remember that. So I try to give her words of support. But I feel like I'd like to go deeper with this, to really get an understanding what this means, and in the scheme of things, and something that maybe might give me might connect me more with consciousness, and give me the peace of mind that I'm looking for. Because right now I don't really have peace of mind. I'm not feeling that peace of mind. Maybe because I'm misidentifying with the body mind, I suppose. But it's just painful. So any ideas on that?
Yes, Frank. So with your mom, what mom loves beyond anything else is your love. That's beyond everything. Is your love. So to be with her, not in her story, not in her thoughts about losing her mind, blah blah, but just to be the love, to be with her and express your love and share your love, and to kiss her and to hold her and to touch her and to caress her. That's that's a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. In terms of the body, Frank, and we may not all have this understanding, this clarity, but of course we all know it at some level or the other. The body has one direction, which is its extinction or its transformation, let's say, and that's the process. It's an ongoing process of the body. Sometimes it's said that from the time the body is born, it is on its way to, it's dying every day, you know. So in a way, the body is dying every day. And that's not a big deal. I mean, this is common. So, of course, we give the body, you give your mom all the support that, you know, to make her as comfortable as possible. And it's maybe challenging to sort of what is the word, to portray to her or to pass on to her the understanding that the body is a phenomenal is phenomenal, and that, you know, as all phenomenal things, it's constantly shifting, transforming, and that she, in fact, she is consciousness, that she's not the body, she's the awareness. That may be a very difficult thing for you to share with her, because it may not be something that is available for her to understand right now. But sometimes when we are about to lose something very, very precious to us, or as we are losing something very precious to us, there is an openness that happens within us. It's like sometimes when we go through a serious separation, or a big financial loss, or we lose somebody very dear in our life, it sort of takes us to a deeper level of we're another aspect of ourselves is open to a higher understanding. So it may be worth it for you to share with your mom that the body undergoes a transformation, but that all is well. At a different level, at another level, all is well. May not even need to say at another level, but that all is well. Now, from your own perspective, for your own understanding, the body-mind is constantly changing. The body-mind Frank of 12-year-old, 13, 15, 18, 20-year-old it's been huge changes in the body-mind. But there is an aspect of yourself that has never changed, which is awareness, consciousness. So from your perspective, it's okay that the body-mind Frank of 12-year-old is gone, and now it's body-mind Frank of whatever it is. So what applies to you applies as well to your mother. So it's okay for you awareness, to also witness not just Frank's body-mind coming and going, but also mom's body-mind coming and going. It's not a big deal. It is part of the phenomenal realm. I mean, the love doesn't go away. I mean, the love is always there. I mean, there's a sanctity to love. You know, it's not a personal. It's God's love that's everywhere, and our entire experience is made out of God's love, irrespective of how our mind doesn't comprehend that. So, and even though, you know, sometimes we may lose somebody who is dear to us, the love is always there. We still feel the love, and there is that sweetness that transcends the form, you know. And it's really beautiful that you're going through all this effort now to be with your mom, you know, and during this time in her life is very beautiful, especially that you are, you know, you're a truth lover. So there is within you a certain a deeper understanding, and not that you need to sort of share it, but it's right there because it's within you. It is, you know, you are like a ripened fruit. It is a ripened fruit. It has a certain perfume, a certain smell, a certain color. It's not reversible. So similarly, the ripening or the blooming of your spiritual understanding of your understanding about truth is right there. It's present. So when you are with your mom, it's there. It's there as your presence, you know, as your.
And Maggie, so thanks for those words. That really does. It's very soothing to hear that. But do you understand because sometimes I think, you know, because I tell my mom, sometimes she'll ask me stuff about what happened yesterday. She doesn't remember what she had for breakfast or whether she took her pills. And I said to her, Mom, I'm helping you. Don't worry. I said, and anything that happened yesterday, just forget it. We don't have to worry about it. It's what's going on today. So I know that's going into non-dualism. And for her, she's not a non-dualist. So for me, it's I sometimes almost cross a line into forcing non-dualism on her, and I'm trying not to do that. But my question to you is, so this thing about losing awareness, losing, I don't understand how we can lose consciousness because how we can lose memory, because consciousness is just, never disappears. And I don't see how memory can disappear.
Well, do you remember the thought that you had 32 minutes ago?
Good point.
Do you remember what is the color of the socks that you wore yesterday? Just yesterday, 24 hours. I'm not talking about, you know, 6 weeks ago.
I only know that, Maggie, because all my socks are white. Wrong choice.
But
no, I don't remember what I had for breakfast or stuff like that. I just don't remember. I know what you're getting at.
Yes.
I know what you're getting at.
Yes.
But it's like the functional things, like learning how, like when she goes in, she tries to go and do something like wash the dishes. She sometimes will forget how to use dishwasher, and that hurts her. So it's things like that. Like, how do you? Why would mind forget that?
Yeah, I mean, the mind. Okay, so it's like an old car, you know. And when you buy a car, it's just driving really smoothly. You press on the pedal, it goes, you know. But after 10 years, although in spite of the many repairs and maintenance you have, it's not the same efficient. It's not the same efficiency. You know, it's the same thing about the body. It's a mechanistic. It's a mechanistic thing, including the brain. You know, the brain. There is a synaptic process or membranes that are sort of vibrating, passing on electrical charges. You name it. Even within that process of, you know, the oxygenation of the body and so on, there is a curve to that. Why is that? That's how it is, you know. This is because maybe it would be completely crazy to be forever a human, you know. I mean, heck, I mean, to be forever a body mind. I don't know. I guess it's not designed this way. It's not how consciousness, you know, designed the game, you know. So
Maggie, the thing about the brain, you brought up the brain. Now, the brain really, I don't see the connection between the brain and the mind. The brain is just what we've decided, isn't it? What we've decided where the mind lives, but it really isn't, is it? Didn't they used to think it was in the heart at one point? They used to believe that the mind was in the heart at one point, and now it's in the brain. But is it really? Mind can't be touched or destroyed or anything. The brain can, but is there that much of a connection? Is it just because we believe it that it hurts? Like if we hurt like in this case, dementia is believed to be a disease of the brain. it's I guess the messages don't get through. I don't know the details of it, but so they're believing that it's this piece of meat and the 3 pounds of meat in the head that does the thinking, but that's really not true. But we believe that. So because mind can't be touched, memory is part of mind. It can't be touched. It's immaterial. So how would the brain have anything to do with memory and mind?
Yeah, I would not say that memory is immaterial. I would say that memory is not a material. It's not a concrete. It's a subtle material. It's a subtle material. It's not an objective material. Okay, like a tree, you could say, is not a subtle material, not a subtle form, but a thought or a memory, which is a thought, is a subtle form. It's still a form. Why is it a form? Because it has a beginning and an ending. You know, the thought of New York City has a beginning and an ending. There is a certain content to it. It is subtle, but I will not say it is not material. Only consciousness is not material. Now, talking about the brain and the mind. The brain is an organ, part of the mechanism of the body. And it has a particular function that it works in harmony or in tandem with the rest of the body. And it works in tandem with gravity, with the air, with the humidity, with the cosmic realm. So the brain does not exist of its own. So when we talk of the brain, we have to understand that we are talking about maybe the trunk of a tree, but the trunk of the tree is not the tree. The trunk of the tree is connected to the branches, to the leaves, to the fruit, to the roots, to the earth, to the worms that are, etc. You follow my meaning. So the brain doesn't stand of its own. So the functioning of the brain is in tandem with the function of everything else. You're on board with that, yes?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Now, the mind, when we say the mind, what do we mean? Before we talk about the mind, we need to define what we mean by the mind. So by the mind, I have a very specific way of speaking about it. Usually when I'm speaking about the mind, I'm speaking about thoughts. And I'm also speaking about our phenomenal experience, meaning our perceptions and sensations, memories and feelings. So all of that I refer to as the mind. So when we say my mind, it's not as if I have a mind somewhere in the closet or in the kitchen or in my belly or is a piece of my brain which is labeled, oh, here is the mind. No, it's not like that. When we say the mind, we are talking about this experience. So right now, this experience is a mind experience. Are you on board with that?
Yeah. I think we've talked about this mind thing before, and I remember you saying that. It did expand my idea of what the mind is. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about it. So by mind, we're referring to whatever is phenomenal that we experience. When I say phenomenal, I don't mean just perceptions and sensations. I'm also talking about thoughts. Yeah, there is the gross aspect of our experience, the gross aspect of our mind, which is the earth, the planets, the mountains, the trees, the body, the table, the car. And there is the subtle aspect of the mind, which is the sensations and thoughts and memories and feelings. So some aspects of the mind we share, like we both know New York City, but there are some aspects of the mind that we don't share. Like, for example, you don't know my thoughts right now, and I don't know your thoughts right now. So by mind, we're referring to this aspect of our experience, which is both shared, let's say public, and also private. Okay? So it's not that there is a mind somewhere, that I have a mind somewhere. No, mind is, this experience right now is a mind experience. And so the mind, the way I speak about it, is whatever appears to you in this moment is the mind, and whatever also comprises the totality of your experience is mind. Now, consciousness, on the other hand, is the reality of mind, meaning that which perceives the thought, that which right now is hearing these words, is not the body that is hearing. It is not the brain that is hearing. It is I that hears, right? When we say I hear, I'm not saying, oh, the body is hearing. I refers to consciousness, right?
And what remembers? Is it also
Okay, let's look at remembrance. Let's say that right now you're remembering your mother, yes? What is that experience? That experience is a thought arising to you right now. So I'm perceiving the image of my mother right now, right? And then there is a thought that says, well, I remember my mother. Meaning there is a thought that appears to me right now that says, I remember my mother, right? Where does the thought, and to what does the thought or the image of my mother arises? It arises to I awareness. So memory or remembrance is a current thought that is arising to I awareness in this moment, and that is followed or maybe superimposed upon that thought or followed with that thought is the thought, I remember my mother. But we never travel to the past. It's not, you never experience the past. You never actually experience the past because it's not possible it's not possible to go to the past. So the past, what we refer to the past, is a current experience, which we label, this is the past. I remember when I was 12 years old. It's a current thought, I'm sharing with you a current perception. Yes, you follow?
Yes. So I get that.
So remembrance is, another way of saying it is awareness in this moment, taken on the form of a thought, and taken on also the form of a commentary that this is the past. This is the past. So within consciousness, which is not in time, consciousness is not in time. In other words, consciousness does not exist in the 20th century or in the 25th century. It is not in time. Within consciousness, there is the impression of time, which is a conversation and thoughts, meaning thoughts, and perceptions. Like, for example, when we visit the ruins, when we go to the Pantheon and we visit the ruins, the Roman ruins, this is a perception of the past. But this perception of the past is taking place within awareness. And awareness is not in the past, nor is it in the future. Nor is it in the future. You follow?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So there is this the way in which consciousness dances is that it dances among its infinite dances. It dances the dance of time, past and future. But the fact that consciousness is dancing the dance of time and future, like you go to the theater and you watch a play of Othello, or you watch a, you watch a movie about the Byzantine, the Byzantine time, does not mean that in actuality, consciousness is in time. It is rather that time, the impression of time, is a certain spin, a certain form, a certain display that consciousness takes. And that which perceives the remembrance, the memory, is I consciousness, I awareness.
So a remembrance of something is known by consciousness, because otherwise it wouldn't be anything. You need consciousness to know that there's a thought being remembered.
Of course, yes.
And then when there's no remembrance, let's say somebody forgets to use, like my mom forgets to use the dishwasher, what's happening there? So consciousness is there, knowing that she can't remember how to work the dishwasher.
Well, let's say when the way of using the dishwasher is not arising, at that moment, awareness is choosing not to know the operation of the dishwasher. So somebody else will use a dishwasher for, somebody, I guess, or I won't use a dishwasher. I'll just wash the dishes by hand. And if washing the dishes by hand, if that methodology is no longer available, then I will not wash the dishes.
So memory is just like any other object in the body-mind world that awareness is aware of.
Yes, memory is
the consciousness of the body-mind, and then it disappears. Like with some people, disappear sooner than others, and others die with all their memory intact. And just the way the body-mind works in that particular case, and awareness is just aware of that.
Yes, like in deep sleep, you don't know how to wash the dishes. So if you are how do you say, somnambule? Somnambule are the people who walk in their sleep.
Yes.
If you are a somnambule and you walk from your bedroom down to the kitchen, and there are a lot of dirty dishes in the kitchen, yes, and you come to the kitchen, you won't know how to wash those dishes because you are sleeping, right? So the absence of the interest and the absence of the functioning of that subroutine, the absence of that subroutine simply means that this subroutine is not operating right now. And in the body, for the body mind, sooner or later, these subroutines, these programs get dismantled. Either they are dismantled progressively or more rapidly, or suddenly. So whatever is happening, quotes unquote, happening, is, of course, there is only one, if you want to look at a doer, there is only one doer, okay, that which is the universal consciousness. And within this universal consciousness, everything is happening And at the same time, nothing is happening. So everything is happening in that you have your mom doesn't no longer know how to wash the dishes. A new baby is born. A 15-year-old boy is learning how to dance, how to tap dance. Everything is happening. And at the same time, nothing is happening, because in the entire cosmic realm, there is nothing lacking and nothing in excess. In other words, there isn't an external reality to that totality. And because there is nothing being augmented or diminished, it is just like a balloon. You take a balloon and you press it in your hands, and it sort of changes shapes, but imagine that it's a balloon, but there are no external hands. It's just an infinite balloon, and it's just dancing within itself. So you could say that, oh, well, this balloon is dancing, but who are you to say that this balloon is dancing? Because you are not separate from the balloon. You are the balloon. It's not like you're standing outside the balloon, looking at the balloon and saying, oh my goodness, this balloon is changing shape. No, there isn't a separate reality to consciousness. Even the thought that says there is a separate reality to consciousness, that very thought is appearing within consciousness and is proving that in fact the reality is consciousness, because without consciousness, that thought would be meaningless. So in the play of consciousness, there are no limitations. There isn't like a right and wrong, or this possibility yes and this possibility no. It's infinite potential. This is where they say that God is omnipotent, infinite potential and infinite creativity. That the mind, the human mind meaning within our experience, it's beyond our experience. We cannot fathom. Based on our experience, we can only speak in a limited way. In a limited way, because at the human body-mind level, it is just a particular aspect of the totality. The totality being consciousness. And consciousness is not phenomenal. So therefore, you cannot speak of consciousness from the point of view of experience, of mind experience or body experience, because it is not at that it's not at that dimension. It is not at the level of manifestation. It is at the level of reality. Reality meaning the infinite invisible that I am and that perceives.
Okay, Magdi, that's a lot to chew on. I want to watch this over again when I get home later.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, Frank. Okay, be safe. Okay. Any questions?
Magdi.
Hello, Mina.
Oh, I only wanted to say thank you to Frank for sharing this, and I'm very touched how wonderful he is caring and he's looking for his mom. And for me, it's very, very beautiful and very touching. I thank you, Frank. Because I'm also a mom, and you know, it's so beautiful to see how a son is looking for his mom. That's all.
Okay, yeah, that's sweet.
Thank you.
Any questions? Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. No particular question. I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, Holger.
Magdi?
Oui, Shiva. Salut, Shiva.
Hi. Salut, salut.
Hi.
Hang on. Where is the thing? Ta-dam. Here we are.
Okay.
Hi, good to see you.
You too.
Would you speak a little bit about perception of time and perception of timelessness?
Yes.
Could you just sort of, I don't need to say anything in particular about it. I think it's pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
The timelessness, Shiva. Timelessness is the experience of causeless peace. That which no longer comes and goes. And when your experience is no longer wavering, meaning wavering in being limited and then being the peace and back and forth. That's the timeless. The timelessness refers to not zero time, of course, I know you understand that, but no time. So it's consciousness, so consciousness, the reality of consciousness is timeless. And sometimes I use the word eternal, but it doesn't matter what word you use. It refers to the causeless peace, where you are no longer subject to past and future, where the peace, the happiness, the tranquility is no longer affected by events, situations, gain and loss. In the impression of time, there's always me in time. There is, of course, at the phenomenal level, there is time in the sense that you can look in the mirror and you see a certain body, you look again in the mirror, and it's different. It's a different body. One was 12-year-old, we say 12-year-old body, and one we say is, 60-year-old body. But of course, this labeling of 12, 15, 20, 60 is it's random. It's just a classification. It's a certain way in which we sort of categorize experience. We categorize experience in slices. So we say the day is made out of 24 hours, but in fact, there are no hours in the day. The hours of the day are a certain way in which we sort of develop a certain language that we can navigate our communication, we can navigate our dance together, you see. So in fact, in our experience, in the reality of things, the reality of the universe, there is no time. And similarly, in terms of space, so again, it's a space here and there, meters, how many kilometers, how many meters, close and far, is sort of a conceptual realm that we have developed that serves a certain function. But in fact, in our experience, we never leave, we never come and go, meaning that our experience is not an experience made out of space. It is space meaning distance. It is made out of just the seamlessness of awareness. But when we say, well, this is here and the tree is out there, is outside of the house, it's a very helpful way of speaking about our experience that allows us to classify our experience. So we know, for example, that the car is in the garage, you say, and the stove is in the kitchen. But our experience is very different in that our experience is that of consciousness, and is not made out of kitchens and garages and cars and trees. It is the wholeness. There are no words for it. It's indivisible, undivided. But from the perspective of our conditioning, we believe that we are a man or a woman. We believe that we are an object, let me say. So when that belief is on board, for most of us it's the case, then there is the realm of objects, the realm of physicality that is downloaded in the brain, and via our experience now, there are things in the world. And our experience becomes sort of rigidified in the objective sense, where we perceive and we feel that we are born, that we're born, that we exist in time. And so our experience of time becomes as if the time is the reality of consciousness. So I exist in time. So in ignorance, I exist in time. I'm born and I'm slowly dying. It's true that one could say that is how we could classify the phenomenal events for the body, but the phenomenal events for the body do not refer to I. To I. So so there is a confusion between the reality of consciousness and our experience, that which we experience, which is the body, the world, and the mind. So when we are under the impression that I am a person, I'm a man, I'm a son, I'm a daughter, or whatever, then the experience of time is a psychological experience and is is a felt experience. It's no longer simply a classification, a useful classification, but also it has psychological implications, which are worry and concern and anxiety about running out of time, about getting there in time, about awakening in time. I mean, there's a whole impression of being in time. So there's a sense of incompleteness and the concern about ending. There's a concern about ending, that at some time I may end, you know. So and so that concern is always there, you know. It's somehow it's like you have some sort of slight headache and you got used to it, but it's still there. If you turn your attention to it, you find something is off. I'm not fully free. I'm not fully happy. I'm not feeling, this God, you know, I really, I'm not, I don't know the joy, the freedom of being. There's something that's bothering me, you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't. Did I interrupt you?
No.
I sort of jump in because this is what you said is 100% true, and sort of the classical consciousness in relationship to time expose. Okay.
Yes.
So what happens here now is there is simultaneously, so, you know, having been gifted by those oneness experiences very strong in Arunachala 10 years ago, which sort of got the whole ball rolling of this, you know, quest of this pathless path, whatever you want to call it, the satsang galore kind of life I have lived. There's been a long period of time where just the incredible bliss of the experience of spaceless timelessness, in which I was one with everything which seemed to appear. There was this whole thing of like the quest for timelessness, right? So whatever I can do to facilitate mantra chanting, satsang listening, deep contemplation, meditation, you name it, walk in nature, whatever I could do to sort of like dissolve in timelessness was something very promoted for a long time. And then parallel to that, and this is still to some degree on, is what you just said about the sort of discomfort / pain which appears when whatever we call that little self called, you know, Wolfgang is going into the sensation of, oh, I need to move out here in 3 months' time, or I'm running out of time, or, you know, what, that kind of thing. So that's very clear to me. Now, however, what is curious these days, and I don't know if I can really put that into words, is that it feels like the two of them are merging. It's kind of totally weird. Like, there is still a sort of, and maybe I want to ask you, what is your experience on the subject? Because the practical stuff is really no problem. I have a student scheduled at 4 o'clock. So yeah, I gotta sort of make the space ready for it. You know, whatever, that kind of thing. So these things are really not an issue. Simultaneously, there is a piece underlying even the thought, oh, I gotta do X, Y, Z in 3 months of time, and I might not have enough time. So when that is happening, it doesn't have the same bite anymore than it used to.
Yes.
I don't know.
So it is, there may be quote unquote some activity at the surface, you see, but not at the core. So as long as there isn't a disturbance in the sense of unhappiness,
well,
then if everything is merging, it can merge. You know, merging, not merging. It's about the peace and happiness.
I want to say something really weird, and I don't know if that is what that is. I'm just sort of launching it, but it feels like even the unhappiness, when it appears, like yesterday after our conversation, the crypto market crashed and went down 60% in like a couple of hours. And I found myself for like 3 hours with my nephew in Germany, who's managing the portfolio, to try to salvage the thing, and the cell phone stopped working, and it was like a mess on many levels. And there was a lot of activity and there was a lot of emotion, but in the same time, and I was really curious, just because maybe it happened so close after the exchange we had, is it somehow also nothing happened.
Yeah, well, you know, as long as there isn't a sense of being threatened, something is threatened. You know, there is maybe you're boiling some milk or something or on the stove, and it's going up, so you hurry, you know, something spills over, you have to clean it and so on. So there is a certain energetic at the surface, but if at the core, your happiness doesn't depend on that. Of course, you do feel the energetics of having to clean the spill, having to make phone calls, the network isn't working, you call again. There is a certain frustration at the body-mind level, because it is frustrating. You know, you're trying to get through a call, you can't hear, you speak louder, and then boom, you lose the message, the signal, you call again. So all that is happening. It has its own, it's like a wind, you know, the wind comes and the leaves, they move like that, you see. But after the wind is gone, then so after you make your phone calls and you make the decisions that you make and so on and so forth, you are back to the peace. Okay, you know, the portfolio went down by 50K. Okay. You are okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are okay. You is okayness. Now,
you is okayness.
This we should not confuse the energetics of the activity and, of course, the emotion that are drawn at the time that bring the response. You know, it's like you walk in the street and you see a car driving too quickly towards you, like it's getting off the road towards the sidewalk. There's going to be certain energetic that's going to hopefully make you react, you know, in a certain way. But we should not confuse that with ignorance. Now, ignorance has a longer impact. This is going on and on and on and on and on. And okay, then it makes a justification, that it makes a blame, that it makes a hope, then it makes a way, makes a regret, and so on. It's there, you know. So these events that occur, you know, that are energetic, they are one way of looking at them is that they are inviting you to realize that which is unmoved.
Yeah.
So there is a movement, and then you realize, oh, no movement.
Yeah, no.
Why? Because now there is no need.
I'm so thankful for this thing. And it was just so curious because the whole thing was about time, right? It was all about, okay, within 1 hour, you can see something dropping of like $5,000 or whatever, like craziness. You see it on the screen and it's just like, okay, we got to do this. And then the system doesn't work and everything's clogged. The internet is clogged, everything, because everybody's doing the same thing basically. And then it's just sort of in the same time, I mean, in the same moment, there's a feeling of total timelessness. Like it was so amazing, you know, in the instantaneous synchronicity of it.
Yes. So the thing is when there is this sort of involvement, not to remain there when there is no more need to be there. You
Exactly.
serve your function there, whatever it takes, and then once that's handled and taken care of, you don't need to stay there anymore. You know, then you can sit on the couch and as a way of speaking. Yeah.
Ja, ja, oder gern Massage. Thank you, Magdi. Merci.
Yes.
Hein.
Okay.
Comme toujours.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Any questions? Hello, Ethan. You're right. Is it necessary to dissolve the ego? So, Ethan, it depends what you mean by ego. Now, if by ego you're referring to the sense of limitation, the unhappiness that you experience, then I would say, yeah, it's a good idea to be free from unhappiness. Don't you agree? Now, ego, the way I refer to ego, is sort of the sense of me, the functional, hopefully functional, sense of being in relation to the world, in relation to others, in a functioning sense. There is a sense and understanding about how, as a tribe and as a society and as a human experience, how things function. So when we have, quotes unquote, a healthy ego, we relate with each other, and we relate at work, and we relate with our family in overall in a balanced way. So a healthy ego means you're a healthy father or a healthy mother, or if you're an employee, you're overall a well-functioning employee. You understand the rules, you understand the regulations, you know how to interact. So the ego, the way I visualize the ego, or I understand the ego, is it relates to the functioning of the organism at the body-mind level. So it's not that we have an ego, because there is no such thing as an ego, but you can observe whether overall things are functioning okay in your life. If things are functioning relatively okay in your life, I'm not talking about happiness here, I'm talking about functioning. You know how to talk to people, you know how to listen, you know where to drive your car, how to operate in the world. So you can observe that overall your operations in the world, your functioning in the world is working out. So you could say that overall that's a healthy ego. Now there are some, and we all have a spectrum. Nobody has, there is no perfect ego. We all have our places where we don't function well. We haven't somehow developed the skills to function and in certain situations, and it may not be that important for us. Now, in some cases, or maybe many cases, our inner conversation, our inner images about ourselves and about the world get in the way of a harmonious functioning. For example, if we have been subjected to big trauma, lots of trauma in our youth, we may become asocial. We may not be able to sort of be with anybody. We are alone. We shut ourselves in our room. We don't function in the world. So there are, for all of us, situations like that, and hopefully there are situations that we can still manage in spite of the fact of having experienced abuse in our youth. We somehow figured that it's okay. We find a way to function in spite of that history. So that would be a relatively functioning ego. So all of us, all 7 billion of us, function in a relatively harmonious way. Now, in other words, we are managing. We figure it out. And we don't need to dissolve the ego. The ego is important for us to learn, to grow, to develop the skills that allow us to function in a relatively harmonious way in life. So the ego is not a bad thing. The unhappiness, on the other hand, Ethan, unhappiness is something that is worth our looking into. And unhappiness is not because of the functioning of the ego. The unhappiness is born with the belief that I am Ethan, that I am a person, that I'm a son, a father. The I, which is Ethan, is a false I. It's not the real I. It's not that which you are. That which you are is consciousness, awareness. So, in terms of the ego, learn how to function, how to operate in your world the best you can. But in terms of peace and happiness, you need to take a look at the belief that you are mortal, that you are born, that you are a person, that you exist in time and space. Yes, you're right. Thank you, Magdi. Makes sense as I, as love, love the ego. I, as love, I am love. Love has no object, or it has all objects. Love is that which we are. Love is not the result of anything. It is the source of everything. And in a way, one could say that our contemplation is a contemplation upstream from the belief that I am a product of the world, to the understanding that I am the love, the reality that creates the world like you create your night dreams every night. The ego is a concept. It's a concept that refers to how we are, how we function in the world, mostly in relationship with others and relationship with ourselves. It's important that you don't mistake yourself to be the ego. You are the reality that hears these words. That which hears these words is undeniable. In other words, right now, there is a reality that perceives. The reality that perceives is I. The body, mind has a name, Ethan or Megdi or whatever. Yes, that's the name of the body mind. But I, that which perceives, has no name. I perceive the body mind. Of course, I perceive image in the mirror. I perceive sensations. I perceive memories. I perceive the world, body, mind. But the I that perceives the world, body, mind is transparent, is invisible, is infinite. So take a look in that direction, Ethan. Take a look in the direction of the reality that perceives, because only reality can deliver that which is real. And love is real. It cannot be delivered by thoughts or by experiences which are transient and impermanent. Only that which is absolute, that which is real, can reveal the love that you are. So if the ego is, if in your life you're functioning more or less okay, doesn't have to be perfect, far from it, that's cool. You can go ahead with that. but take a look in the direction of your reality. Your reality. Not the storyline of Ethan. Of course, we all have storylines as body minds, but your reality, that which has no storyline. Okay, well, thank you all. Very lovely to be with you all. Rahul, Mina,
Thank you, Magdi.
Shiva, Holger, Grace, Andrew, Charlie, John, hey John, Frank, Walter, hello Walter, Isaac, hola Isaac, hi Zoe, Kelly, hey Kelly, Desmond, hello Desmond, and Ethan. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. As always, thank you.
Thank you, Magdi.